All right, y'all. So today's the day where I have to, I guess, go ahead and take care of my experiment that didn't quite work the way I'd hoped it to, which is kind of a nice way of saying it was just a failure. It was an experiment. I learned a lot from my corn wicking bed. Couple of things I need to do to fix it, which I think I talked about earlier. So I need to make the bed a little bit deeper. So I'll have to add on a second story and throw in a little bit more soil. This is, let's see, I'll just show you how tall my corn is. Okay, now granted, it's got about a 6-inch height on me, but you see, this stuff should be towering over me. I mean, this corn generally, it depends on what you planted, but most corn will get about 6 feet high. These guys just never got there. And despite the fact that I was able to show you about hand pollinating, which I was glad I was able to do, which hopefully if I fix this and the corn grows the way it's supposed to, I'll be able to show you a much better job, because you can see here's one of the corns that I hand pollinated, and that's about as big as it's gonna get. I might leave this one plant to see how, I can feel the top of the ear is here. Do you see that? It should be all the way up. And I can feel some young kernels in there, but it's coming out because I want to plant more broccoli in here, because broccoli is sort of like corn in that it's a one-time kind of harvest. You can't just keep harvesting off of it. You can harvest the main head and then it'll grow some little side branches and you can harvest those, but then it's done. And I want more than that. I'm going to just cut it down. I'm going to weed whack after that. I'm going to leave the roots in. I'm just going to cut it down to the soil level. And then I'm going to weed whack the co-crop that I had in here and the rest of the weeds. And then I'm going to put cardboard on it, and I'm going to plant the broccoli seeds and some spinach and other things that I want to put into this bed for the fall. So that's what it will do. Have fun watching me sweat, because I don't know how other gardeners on their YouTube channels, they never sweat, but I sweat like a pig. So here we go. Okay, it's done, which is good because it's about to pour rain. See the sky? It has been so rainy the last couple of weeks, and I think in October it's not normally this rainy. It's starting to dry up a little bit, but this has been a weird year. Our summer was really dry and our fall is super wet, and I think it's just trying to make up for all the rain it didn't give us when it was supposed to during the summer. So anyway, here is the bed now, and I need to go and pick up all the stuff and throw it back. All the stuff that I cut down, I want to throw back in here. I tried to make it make it look like a turf short. I wanted to cut it super short. I left the one plant so we could observe the ear growing here. And in about 2 weeks, it should probably be pretty close to needing to be harvested. As you can see, the tassel is utterly spent. See the anthers? Oh, they're brown. There is no pollen falling from them anymore. So they're done. Bees weren't happy with me. Wasps weren't happy with me cutting all this down. And I'm sad for them because, they're good pollinators, but it's got to come down. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to I'm going to put cardboard down here and let that sit for however long it takes for my seedlings to grow big enough to transplant, because I want all of this stuff to not grow back, but I want the nitrogen and all the good things to go back in. And remember, I planted buckwheat in here, which is a nitrogen fixer. So the roots will now decay, release their nitrogen to the surrounding organisms down there. And all the grass and everything that grew in there that wasn't intended to grow, well, their tissue will just turn into nitrogen and all the other good things that they had in them as they decay into the dirt. So I'm going to go and do the cardboard now. So clearly I wasn't quite prepared with all the cardboard I needed. I got about 99% of it covered. I'll go out when the rain stopped and I can find more cardboard, and then I'll see if I need to kind of cover any places that the grass or other things might grow back through. But otherwise, I don't know if you can see from here. There it is, way out there. So here it is, covered up. Yeah, this is what I'm talking about, needing to cover up a little bit more at some later point. The corn stalks here, I guess those can be used for Halloween. And the only actual corn I'll get out of this bed was this cute little design I bought from the dollar store. I mean, this little decoration I bought from the dollar store. I just really liked it, so I got it. Anyway, ta-ta for now. TTFN. Right, so you guys, I'm going to start uncardboarding the wicking bed here. And I'm going to start planting my everything I just told you I was going to plant. So I'll just make this fast. Okay, so the cardboard's cleaned up. Now what I'm going to do is I have all this old cover crop that I had on, well, it was kind of sort of a cover crop, and the weeds and everything that were going on here, and here the buckwheat that I had planted between the corn, and then all the grass and everything that I didn't want to grow was in there. But I covered it so that I could plant lettuce and other things without tons of weeds kind of out competing them, I hope. But I want to take a garden rake and just sort of clean this up, smooth it out, and then I'm going to put the top of the or I'm going to put the rest of the plant matter back as like mulch if I can. I guess I can do that with the seeds. Maybe it'll grow through it. I don't think it'll be so thick that they won't be able to grow through. It'll be thin in the beginning anyway, but it can kind of help keep weeds down, I hope, and not the crop. We'll see. So that's something I still have to figure out, how these tiny little plants that grow, how do you keep the weeds out of them? I mean, the only way I can figure is you got to be highly organized when you plant. Nice, perfect little rows. You can put down, you know, cardboard or weed cloth in between. You know, I see all these people doing it without stuff like that in between, and I don't know how they do that. That is still a colossal mystery to me. Okay, so I'm gonna get busy doing that. All right, all done with the lettuce planting, so here we are. Kind of looks a lot like it did before I started. Although, I do have a few transplants. Right here, some lettuces that my sister gave me. One of them is a Pablo Crisp head, and the other one is a crimson something. So, which one is which is your guess is as good as mine. We'll find out later. All right, and in this row, I had a lot of leftover broccoli, so I planted the broccoli and some more lettuce in this last row here. But the broccoli that I planted, let's see what okay, I can't say this. All right, you guys, I can't read my own writing here. It's Piricaba, Piricic, I don't know, something like that. Anyway, sorry, I can't read that. I'll have to find the package and look at what it says. So anyway, all done, and that's that. We'll check in on it later.